Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a multi-part reading. The first part is going to be on Hakeem Jeffries. And he has said last week sometime that he'll use every available legislative tool to get the funding for Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, and Gaza to the House floor. And this is an unsubtle nod, as the article says, to the discharge petition, which the Democrats could use to force a floor vote if Mike Johnson declines to take up the legislation. However, it requires a majority of the House members to sign on the petition, which means that some Republicans would have to sign on so that this legislation has teeth and can go forward. Let's see, anything else? They have at least one Republican who's a centrist. His name is Don Bacon, who's from Nebraska, who didn't close the door to the possibility when asked on Thursday. And his response was, I know we need to get to aid to Israel quickly, and it's our national security interest to keep Ukraine independent. I'll work with like-minded folks in the speaker to determine what's the best way forward. So here's an interesting thing. If the Democrats can get like 3 or 4 Republicans to vote on this, what that could do is force either they could go that end around and force that vote on that funding, or Mike Johnson could try to save face and bring the funding himself. It really depends on if Johnson wants to appear weak because his party goes around him and then out the 3 to 4 people that are end arounding him. That's one way that this could play out, or 2 ways that this could play out. But I have seen the budgets passing and I've seen the funding passing. I'm wondering if this is a way to get the funding passed. So let's take a look. Get that, make sure I got it right. The discharge petition. Will the Democrats get enough votes? Or let's step back here, right? What's the energy around the Ukraine funding bill going to Congress? All right, entertainment purpose only. What's the energy around that funding bill? Wheel of Fortune. It's in flux. This is in flux. Lots of things are happening, and what's happening today may be different tomorrow, may be different next week. Crossed with the winner takes all. Okay, so this is kind of a karmic destiny type thing. You know, getting that funding passed. This is going to make or break the Ukraine war. It's going to make or break Russia. This is incredibly important. And there's going to be a big push. This is why Putin is telling these guys to take a 2-week vacation and don't you dare vote on that funding bill. There's a lot at stake with this. And I guess maybe one of the nice things is maybe not all of the House Republicans are being held under compromise by Putin. He probably has a good share of them, but he may not have all of them. And if you have enough of them that, you know, why are we being beholden to Putin, and they vote with the Democrats on that, the game's up, because Putin doesn't have enough people to force a no vote. He only has enough people to prevent it from getting to the floor. In the past, temperance card. What's the energy around this? Johnson has, you know, we've been giving money to Ukraine, and the Republicans have been slowing it down, putting off the votes, putting off funding, stuff like that. But with the assassination of Navalny and everything that's going on, it's forcing this to come to a head. Temperance is also about detoxification. So it could be, again, that there are some Republicans who are not beholden to Putin or the Putin wing of the government and could actually, you know, vote in America's best interest. Current situation is the strength card. Yeah, there's a lot of support for this funding. And this is a battle between Putin and the compromise that he has over some Republicans versus the American people wanting this funding to go through. Overarching energy, the Four of Wands, it's going to have to be addressed. There is no way to run and hide from this. Yeah, you may be taking a 2-week vacation, but this will need to be addressed. You're not getting out of not doing this. The lesson to be learned, some people are just, they're trapped in Putin's spell. Whether it's by normal bribery, by a compromat, by whatever, members in the House need to decide about where their values and priorities are. Is it self-preservation or is it duty to country? And I would also point out, for the House members that are planning on retiring, you don't owe Putin a damn thing at this point. You're already retiring. Still, it's going to be a challenge to get this legislation to the floor. The Republicans will do everything they can, or the Putin faction will do everything they can to make getting this thing to the floor difficult. But there's a big push to get this thing out there. I wonder if they try to delay it by negotiating it down or something along those lines. But we'll see. Will the Democrats take up the discharge petition? Now, that's the other thing with the Democrats. They can take up the discharge petition, but if they don't get the Republican votes, there's no sense in putting it to the floor. As Nancy Pelosi says, the Democrats know how to count. All right. Will the Ukraine funding make it to the floor via the discharge petition, or is it forced to the floor because of the discharge petition? Hanged Man, willing sacrifices. Oh dear, looking at things in a different way. That's a yes, folks. That's a yes. And the reason why I say it's a yes is because some people on the Republican side will likely be sacrificing their careers to sign up for this. Again, the ones that are already announcing their retirement, by all means, man. By all means. You don't need to do this anymore. But I think it's going to go that route. Or at least the energy is it could be successfully go to that route. Crossed by the strength card. Yeah, because this is like the Democrats' best play. They don't have control of the House. They can't force things to the floor. And you only need a few Republicans to join on. Death card. If the Democrats cannot get this thing to the floor via the discharge petition, then I don't think it's going to get to the floor. I don't know how it gets there. Again, I really would love to see Biden and Schumer, hell, McConnell too, but I'm not going to get that, putting the screws to Mike Johnson every freaking day. Donald Trump would be on Twitter 24/7 about Congress hiding some funding of this bill for this war. So why aren't the Democrats doing the same thing? Play the same game of dirty pool. But regardless, death card is putting an end. It's also new chapters of things. So this could be a new chapter of strength for the Democratic Party. And this is going to tie into the second part of this read that I'm going to do on this one. And that's, just to give you the teaser, is I want to find out, is Hakeem Jeffries going to be our next House Speaker before the election? Okay. So, yes, I think it's going to go through. I think some people are going to sacrifice maybe their political futures to do it. It makes America strong. There's a lot of momentum on it. And it could bring an end to Mike Johnson's tenure if he doesn't bring it, or if he fights this year. This could also bring an end to the war. In the past, the Page of Swords. Spy in the camp, messaging. We'll throw all the fancy stuff out here. This is Mike Johnson not knowing what the F he's doing. He is such a rookie with this. And it's like, these are easy choices. These are easy bills to get to the floor. These are easy victories for the Republican Party to say that they passed legislation. But dipshit here can't figure that out because he's MAGA Mike. Just like Liz Cheney. Queen of Pentacles. This funding is valuable for everybody. Even the crew, the progressives, the farthest left progressives want this to go through because of the funding to Gaza. Republicans want the funding to Israel. Republicans who care about anybody who cares about America, national security, and what Ukraine is doing with Russia cares about this. Anybody who cares about Taiwan staying independent of China cares about this. There's something for everyone in this. Overarching energy is the Ten of Swords. This and again, I think this is how the Democrats have to sell this. If they cannot get this bill to the floor, it's done and done. This is kind of like their only chance to get it through. I don't think Johnson's going to do it willingly, so you're going to have to force him to do it. Oh, and the Page of Swords. This could be Republicans who are traitors. The ones who are hanged men. The ones who are going to put country above party. That could be what this is as well. Not just a slam on Mike Johnson. The lesson to be learned is the Four of Swords. Oh, what do we got? I don't know if it's brought up and then delayed on the voting, or if what I want to say is like people really need to think. They need to think what their priorities are. They need to think about what the values of America are and supporting our allies versus doing what the Republican chair is telling you to do. Outcome. Seven of Swords. Sneaking away, theft, thief in the night, betrayals. I don't know. It's like it doesn't pass. It's like they get it to the floor and it doesn't pass. This is not a great card, by the way. Or maybe what this could be is that they negotiate and they take away a lot of the funding. Some funding gets through, or they want to break it. I don't think you can break it into individual parts. This guy, he's got the Russian hat and the Russian boots on. And I think on the most positive way to read it is that Putin has so many swords. He's got so many of the Republicans on his side that it takes extreme measures to get this thing through. But there might be just enough Republicans left to get this thing through. That would be the most positive message. We'll see. But again, this is one of those things. Putin does not want this to pass. Period. End of story. Ukraine gets the funding. Russia's screwed. Their economy is a wreck. And they can't keep this war up. It literally will bankrupt Putin and the oligarchs. And the oligarchs maybe even gave Putin a deadline with which he's got to get this thing done. Which is why he's just throwing bodies into the battle. It's working. The human wave is working. Not so great for the folks on Russia's side that are blocking the bullets with their bodies so the guy behind him can make it. All right. With Mike Johnson and the budgets and everything that's coming up, will Mike Johnson be removed as Speaker of the House? Or maybe that's not, who cares? Do you even care? I don't care. What you want to know is, will Hakeem Jeffries be Speaker of the House prior to January 2025? The majority Speaker of the House, not the minority Speaker of the House, the majority Speaker of the House. Got to word these things right. So at some point, Mike Johnson would have to step down. Would Hakeem Jeffries be voted in as Speaker of the House, the majority Speaker of the House? Again, entertainment purposes only. What do we got? The Hermit. We'll see. Lighting the way. Let's throw across. It would require backroom negotiations, backroom deals going on. These are not horrible cards. Six of Swords. Moving away from troubled waters to calmer shores, people leaving. It would require... maybe if the GOP is just sick and tired, or conservatives, I should say, if they're sick and tired of the MAGA group, they may just elect him, make some agreements in the background to elect him. Alternatively, they could, this could also be the Democrats working the Republicans to pick some candidate who's serious-minded. But again, I'm asking about Hakeem Jeffries specifically. In the past, Four of Swords, he's waiting his turn. He's waiting his turn. I don't think he's expecting to be Speaker of the House this year because, well, the Republicans control it. But he's the minority Speaker, and he's doing that job, and he's doing that job well. Current situation is the Devil card. All right. What's that mean? Trump basically being in control of the House, in control of the Republicans and them, and Mike Johnson basically being willing to carry Trump's water. Mike Johnson is not in charge of the... not in charge of the Republican Party. Sorry, I'm chuckling here. Trump is. I'm chuckling because, they bring this up a little closer. You see the devil's feet there? Those three-toed talons? It's almost like he's a shrill-winged harpy with disfigured three toes. I wonder who that might be. Overarching energy is the Nine of Coins. I don't have any alcoholic drinks to take a shot with. It could very well be the Democrats say, okay, now y'all are going to like this. The Democrats make a deal with the devil and install a conservative woman to be in charge of the House. Okay. Hakeem Jeffries. Okay, the Republicans have made their deal with Trump. He controls the funding. Oh, welcoming somebody new. Welcoming somebody new. Temperance. Integration. Detoxification. I think Johnson's going to be removed. There's going to be some background talks going on with this. And the next Speaker of the House is not going to be somebody tied to Trump. I see it as being, like a woman or a wealthy woman of strong moral character and values who would be welcomed by both sides. Could be a man who expresses the divine feminine that's welcomed in. But either person over here, somebody who puts the best interests of the United States first, is going to be working in a bipartisan manner and detoxifying the House. Okay? Okay? So, for those of you who are newer and don't know my code for Liz Cheney, that would be code for Liz Cheney. I do really think that when Mike Johnson's gone, your best bets are going to be Hakeem Jeffries or Liz Cheney. And it's going back to that Three of Coins there. That's the backroom dealing. That's the, okay, we are going to have a bipartisan candidate that we can both agree on. And those are the two most likely choices. Frankly, I think that it makes the most sense to have Liz Cheney be your speaker. Why? Because the Republicans still hold the majority in the House. And she's a Republican. Or at least she used to be. But she's also serious-minded. And as long as she's basically just bringing stuff up procedurally like a reasonable House Speaker would, a professional House Speaker would, the Democrats will do their part to at least protect her from being outed by the MAGA crowd. Ultimately, the idea is to isolate the MAGA crowd like the cancerous tumor that they are and make them politically irrelevant. So the other 75% of the House needs to work together and compromise to get stuff done. All right, let's go ahead and throw a challenge reading here, okay? Hakeem Jeffries versus Liz Cheney. And ladies first, I'll have Liz Cheney on this side, Hakeem Jeffries on this side, and here's the challenge. If Mike Johnson's removed, what's going to be the key issue, and how does it look for Liz Cheney? How does it look for Hakeem Jeffries? Key issue are values. Who's going to assess the values? You know, basically the money issue. Mostly it's going to be about passing budgets, passing aid, and things that are of value to the United States. Let's keep it really broad here. And somebody who is going to promote the values that Americans used to have and should be reassessing their values. So for Liz Cheney, how would that look? Betrayal, heartbreak, disappointment. Now you could say right off the chute, that means she doesn't get it, because that's not exactly the great signifier card there. But in my previous reading on Liz Cheney, she doesn't want to run for president. I don't think she wants to be the Speaker of the House either, but she'll do what she has to do. From the Republican point of view, or I should say the MAGA point of view, she's a betrayer. But she's also been the one who's been betrayed by her own party. She was the number 3 person in there. They kicked her out of her leadership position. They kicked her out of the party. They primaried her and kicked her out of her seat. And her only crime was voting to impeach Donald Trump in the impeachment hearing. That has been her crime. The Empress. Underneath there is the Empress. This is her, looking out for her values and what she wants to see America by her values. And again, that America comes before Putin's values. The 7 of Swords, the theft, the stealing. I think, again, this is for, like in that last reading, this is like what Putin had control over the Republicans, and how many votes have been stolen, and how many things have been just, anything that's been stolen because it has been nailed down. And this is also the betrayal and the loss of her position and her authority. She brings strong values, really strong values, and she would be very good for budget items and compromising on budget items. Again, just view her as the conservative version of Nancy Pelosi. Tough, potentially fair, but when you're in the majority, you get to be a little more fair to yourself than the other side. Hakeem Jeffries on this side. Queen of Cups. Keeping his emotions in check. Being very serious-minded. There's the Death card. Okay. With looking at the budget here, the underlying stuff with the budget. This was the budget card. This was in the budget too. It would be the end of... It'd be interesting because it would be the first new chapter where you've got a Democrat in charge of a Republican majority House. There's Temperance, another one that came up. He would be very good at reaching out and getting bipartisan work. Now, again, a lot of Republicans won't vote for him, but they're in the Putin party, not in the other party. 3 of Wands, waiting for his ship to come in. This is like waiting for something to come in, biding your time, waiting for the change. To me, again, I'm biased and I'm really sorry about this. This, to me, is if they offer it to her, he's going to keep his mouth shut because he knows that he's going to win the election and that he will be the House Speaker in 2025. Just wait it out. You're going to be fine. When January happens and the new Congress is sworn in, he's going to be the leader. All he has to do is wait. Wait for the change. He'll be integrated in there and he'll be fine. That's my thoughts on that. So you can place your bets where you want to place your bets. I think for the simple fact of having a functional house that can get funding and budget legislation done, either person would be fine. Who do I want pushing forward my social agenda items? Oh, there's not even a question that I want Hakeem Jeffries in there for that. But I think we're going to get that for sure in 2025. So, get out and vote. Make sure your friends are registered to vote. Get them out to vote too so that we can take our country back. And make sure that we can codify voting rights and things along those lines so that the extremists can't force us into an autocracy. And we can encourage people to vote and all that good stuff that makes America what America is supposed to be. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your likes and your shares and everything you do to feed the algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. To people just discovering this channel recently, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the David Crush on Liz Cheney channel, where we crush on Liz Cheney 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oh yeah, and there's that Hakeem Jeffries guy too. No, I try to be real with you on this one. And again, one of my goals here is to try and bring some calm, try to bring the temperature down. I use a lot of snark and a lot of sarcasm and a lot of evil laughter to take the edge off. We'll get through this. We've got another 10 months of that, 9 months of this. we got a while to go yet. It's short in the grand scheme of things on the universe, but it's going to be a long 9 months for us. But we'll get through it. And I'm hoping to take the temperature down so that your anxiety's down just a bit so that you're not having ulcers through the whole process. Anyways, thank you again for supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.